Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Lecture Notes. This is the third part of the poem Fra Lippi, which is written by Robert Browning. In the last two videos, we have learned that Fra Lippi is uh, caught by the guards and he is telling his whole story, that how he was an orphan living on the streets for many days. Then the old aunt Lucretia helped him and brought him to the monastery, where out of poverty he did not have a choice and became a monk. And now he's telling how big he became a painter as a profession, though he is still a monk. So he's telling that I started painting, and the other monks, friars, did not like it, but the head decided that he should uh, present his artistic talent in such a way that his art becomes the church looks so magnificent and beautiful. So moving on from the line 143, thank you, my head being cramped, the walls are blank. So my head being cramped, that his head was occupied with so much new ideas, and the walls were completely blank, so he could draw anything he want. Never was such prompt disembodiment. First ever sort of monk, the black and white. So now he's telling what exactly he started drawing. First, he drew two kind of monks, which were religiously, some were black and some were white. I drew them fat and lean, then folk at church from good old gossip waiting to confess. So usually the people come in the church to pray or confess few things. So he is describing both the things, that how people, folk at church, used to gossip also, referring to confess, and also tell whatever they want to God also. Their cribs of barrel dropping, candle ends. So when they used to enter the church, there they had candle in their ends, to the breathless fellow at the altar foot. So now he tells a breathless fellow who's a murderer. He's sitting at the altar foot, at the church foot. So he has painted these kind of portraits. So here, Fra Lippi, artistic talent is exploited by the religious order. In the first two lines, basically, the paintings on the church become a cover of hiding the depths of corruption. Browning's comments on the church as an interesting insight into the growing dissatisfaction with institutional religion. So here Fra Lippo says that he thanked the prior for let Lippo stay in the monastery, and he started painting pictures. He says that his mind was full of ideas while the walls of monastery were without any decoration. He quickly painted on the walls, and he unburdened his mind from the load of ideas. So here, breathless fellow at the altar also symbolizes Jesus' image, a sacred image, but also signifies how church exploits the state jurisdiction or the legal system. So here they are pointing out that if a murderer is in the church, nobody could arrest him, because the church is away from the legal jurisdiction. So how it highlights that the murderers or the petty thefts used to harbor a place like church and live there under the protection and the safety of friar monks in the name of the church. Of admiration, half for his beard and half for what white anger of his victim's son. So some people were admiring the murderer, while on the other hand, there was a person who was very angry. Her white anger symbolized that his blood froze and stopped flowing because of anger. So here, the angry person is victim's son. He basically the victim's son is pointing one hand towards the murderer and second hand towards the Christ, showing that how uh, what has happened, basically, who is the culprit and who is going to save him. Shaking a fist at him with one fierce arm, signing himself with the other because of Christ, whose sad face on the cross sees only this after the passion of 1,000 years. Sad face. His sad face is referred to the Christ face, and it was sad because after Christ's sacrifice, also the humanity cannot be saved. Humanity was not able to, could not be saved because people were still corrupted. There were thefts, there were robbery, and the evil people were still present on the earth. till some poor girl, her apron on her head, with the intense eyes looked through, came at Eve. So now they're telling a girl used to come regularly to church and apron over her head. This shows that she was trying to conceal her identity. And she came daily in the evening on tiptoe. On tiptoe again signifying that she is coming secretly. She has a motive and she is coming very secretly that nobody should know who she is and why she is here. Said a word, dropped in a loaf, her pair of earrings and a bunch of flowers. She is dropping these all these things for the murderer. Basically, she is the lover of the murderer who is providing things, whether it is a loaf of bread, something to eat, said a word, comforting words. She's also giving him a pair of earrings so that gold can be converted into money and he can have some money to live on. And a bunch of flowers. Her bunch of flowers symbolize love, basically. So she is trying to comfort the murderer in every way that is possible. The brute took growling, prayed, and so was gone. I painted all, then cried. This ask and have, choose for most ready, laid the ladder flat. So here Fra Lippo Lippi is done with the work and he now says, choose, he says to all the monks that choose which you like because my work is ready now. And then he lays the ladder flat. Lying the ladder flat means that now he's done with the work and he's not going to change it. Now it is finished from his end. There are no changes required. And showed my converted bit of closure wall. The monks closed in a circle and praised loud till Check taught what to see and not to see. Being simple bodies, that's the very man. Look at the boy who stoops to pat the dog. So now they have circled around the paintings. Some are praising it, some are still observing it. They are looking at every painting and commenting whatever they like. The woman's like the prior's niece who comes to care about the asthma. It's the life. So now they are observing that how his paintings were like life, were lifelike because he painted what he saw. But there's my time straw fire flayed and flunked. Their betters took their turn to see and say. The prior and the learned pulled a face and stopped all that in no time. How? What's here? Quite from the mark of paintings, bless us all. So now the prior comes and he says he did not like it. He looks here and there. He looks at every painting and he pulled up his face. But he disliked whatever he saw. And his remarks were like how, what is exactly Fra Lippo Lippi has drawn. So here Fra Lippo Lippi says that his happiness and sense of triumph at the painting soon ended in smoke like a fire made out of straw and not solid wood. So his happiness was for few seconds only and it disappeared as soon as Prior started commenting. The superiors of the monk took turns to see his picture and criticize them adversely. So now he says faces, arm, legs, and bodies like they're true. As much as P and P, it's a devil game. So he's saying that you have made arms, body, and legs, and basically the body in such a way that anyone who will come to church will see the physical body only. And TNP means he has exactly replicated the reality. Your business is not to catch men with show. So now he's saying, in his opinion, the kind of art was undivine, a devil's game. Lippo's business as an artist was not to paint external appearance or beauty to glorify the body, which is moral as it is made of perishable clay or earth. As a true artist, Lippo should paint the soul and not the body. So, according to Prior, people should not observe flesh, they should observe the soul. And his paintings were so particular about the faces, arms, and legs that nobody could overlook their body and nobody could look over the emotions or the soul. With homage to the perishable clay, but lift them over it, ignore it all, make them forget there's such a thing as flesh. So now he is saying to Lippo that over it, them over it, that lift them over it, get whatever knowledge of painting you have, get over it, ignore it all, and whatever painting you have drawn, take it away and forget them all, forget everything that you know about the colors, flesh, everything, and start afresh. Your business is to paint the souls of men, man's soul, and it's fire, smoke. No, it's not. So, according to the prior, body should be ignored. He wants that the people should forget about body and think about soul after seeing the paintings. Now, in the later half of the stanza, he's trying to describe what is soul. So, he says, man's soul, and it's fire, smoke. No, it's not. It's vapor done up like a newborn babe. In that shape, when you die, it leaves your mouth. It's well what matters talking it. It's the soul. Give us no more of body than show. Oh. So now he's trying to describe, but the prior himself is not able to describe properly what the human soul is like. He sees it as a fire, then to smoke, then to vapor, and says that the only vapor assumes the form of a newborn baby. He says that when a person dies, his soul leaves the body through the mouth and then assumes the form of a newborn baby. So it is the soul that matters, and therefore it should be depicted. Now he takes in the last line, here's Githo with his saint appraising God. Githo is the famous painter, and he says that who painted basically a saint who is praising God. So he's saying that you should take some inspiration from Githo and then paint, who is trying to show how God is important and why soul is important, rather than portraying human beings in such a beautiful form. It's up straight. Why not stop with him? That stop your ideas there only and start with the inspiration from Githo's work. Why put all thoughts of praise out of your head with wonder at line, colors, and whatnot? That stop whatever colors, lines, sketches that you are drawing. Paint the soul, never mind the legs and arms, rub all out, try it as a second time. So now you're saying start afresh. Whatever you have drawn, it's not worth it and we need to change it. So he asked Lippo to take inspiration from him and erase all the thoughts of arms, legs, colors from your mind as well as paintings. Then the prior sees in a picture of Lippo, he says in the last few lines, you will see, oh, that's white, smallish female with the breast. She is just my niece, Herodias, I would say, who went and danced and gone men's head cut off. Have it all out now in this sense, I ask. So now he's saying that if you will portray female body organs in such a way that nobody is going to come here to pray. Basically, they will all come for such frivolous paintings. So then the priest sees in a painting picture of Lippo, that Lippo has drawn a smallish female figure with big breast and says that it resembles his niece. Then he says that the female figure is just like Herodias, who went and danced and got men's head cut off. He implies that such pictures produce only evil effects and evil thoughts, and so Lippo should rub all his paintings now as well as stop whatever his knowledge was. Have it all now is the sense I ask. I ask here is Lippo. Now, again, we are shifted to the present scenario where Lippo is asking guards that whatever the prior said, is it making you any sense? A fine way to paint soul by painting body. So now Fra Lippo Lippi asked the guard, he has not been able to make sense or could not find any logic reason that how could he paint soul and leave the body behind. Lippo speaks for the realism in the painting and has a contradictory viewpoint from Iyer. A fine way to paint soul. So these lines are spoken by Lippo and he's saying these lines to Cart. A fine way to paint soul by painting body. So ill the eye can't stop there, must go further. He's saying that what he wants that I should paint body in such a worst form that the eyes search for soul. This is what you want and can't fare worse, thus yellow does for white, when what you put for yellow simply black. So he's saying that I should mix the colors, that whether when the sun is yellow, I should paint it white. And if something is to be painted red, I should paint it in a different color like black. He says that the painting should be so sad and bad that one cannot admire body. Therefore, soul is the only thing left to observe. This is what the prior wants from Lippo. And any sort of meaning looks intense when all beside itself means and look not. Why can't a painter lift each foot in turn. Each foot here he is referring to body and soul. That why can't they go together? He asked the guard. He says both beauty and art should go together. In other words, they asked Lippo to paint the soul only, and it is as ridiculous as to ask him to walk on one leg. So he says that according to me, according to Lippo, both the things should go together, whether it is soul or whether it is body. Make his flesh liker and soul more like, both in their order. Take the prettiest face. Then he's saying that what I think as an artist, that I should take a prettiest face, the prior's niece, patron saint. It is so pretty. You can't discover if it means hope, fear, sorrow, or joy. Won't beauty go with these? Suppose I made her eyes all right and blue. Can't I take breath and try to add little flesh, and then add soul and highlight in them threefold? He says that what is wrong if I paint her so beautifully, and then I can work on the soul more hard way, that I can highlight the soul in much better way, in three times better. He takes one of the most beautiful face of the town and then asks why beauty cannot go with emotions. He further, that is Lippo, he further asks that how a person can have beauty without a soul, and adds that God has created both flesh and soul, and if he has not discriminated between body and soul, so humans also should know. So in the last two lines, he says, if you get simple beauty and not else, you get about the best thing God invents. So he's saying God is the one who invented both the things, and he has not discriminated. Both beauty and soul should go together like our two legs on which we walk. So thank you for watching this video. There will be two more videos explaining the next few lines.